Okay, so this video is going to be about what is Edpuzzle, how to use it, some ways that I've used it, and kind of getting started. Just for the record, there's some other tech I'm using in this video. Loom is a screen recording plugin, and so that's what I'm using to actually record the video. I used Google Slides to make the slides we'll see here. We're also going to use YouTube, and in one of the videos that I'm going to use, I use a little, this is the XP pen pad, and it just lets you write on the pad and it will show up on the screen. It's pretty handy for math and science stuff. But anyways, let's talk about Edpuzzle. So what is Edpuzzle? It is a website, service, program, whatever you want to think about it as, that allows you to take any video. I like to use YouTube because it's easy and I know how to work with it. And you can take a video that's one that you've created or one that you found, and you can embed questions using it. And you can use multiple choice or open-ended questions. You can also embed notes and comments in there for the students to listen to or read. So it's a pretty useful tool. It also gives you some very useful data that you can get out of it. Like you can look at it on a student focus level and kind of look at this student. They did really well on questions related to this, but they fell asleep or something. I don't know what happened. They weren't, they missed the second half of their questions, or they just didn't answer them. You can also look at it on a question focused way, saying like, oh, we did really well on 1, 2, 3, and then most people bombed question number 4, so I must have worded it weird or didn't explain it in the way that I thought I did, or something like that. It integrates really easily with Google Classroom. As of right now, I don't know if there's anything for Canvas, but you can put your Google Classroom kind of inside your Canvas, and that might be the easiest way to do that. Okay, so let's stop talking about it and let's look at how it actually works. So I'm going to go to YouTube here. I already searched here and I found a video that I thought would be a good little demo. It's about Chladni plates, which are a thing we talk about in science with sound and vibration. You can either copy and paste this. So I'm going to copy, and then I'll got a bunch of tabs. Let me start a new tab. So it would just be edpuzzle.com. Mine is automatically going to the home page, but I think it will do that. I think if you just go to edpuzzle.com, it will take you there anyways. Making an account is really easy. You can do it with your HCDE Google account, or you can do it with any Google account probably. And that will help you tie it in with your school if you have other teachers in your school who are also using it. Anyways, you get here, and you're going to go to your content tab. So over here is where our content tab is. And then next to where it says Edpuzzle here, it just says search content, and I'm going to paste in the URL for my video I found earlier. And look, here it is. There is actually an easier way to do that as well. If you install the Edpuzzle web Chrome extension or whatever, it will make this little button on YouTube, and you can just click that, and it will take you to the same exact thing. Where'd we go? Here we are. Okay, so once you've got your video selected and you're in Edpuzzle, there's a couple different things you can do. You can drag this little bar around to choose, like, this is a 1.5-minute long video. But let's say I want it to actually start at, we don't need the first 7 seconds or whatever. You can choose whatever you want.
The first experiment for the cymatics music video is called a Chladni plate. A Chladni plate is basically a metal plate attached to the top of the speaker. There's sand on top of the plate, and you play different tones through the speaker. The plate vibrates, which forms different shapes depending on the frequency of the sound.
Okay, so he gave us a nice little explanation of how this thing works. So I paused the video right there, and I'm going to click here on questions. And this will let me add some questions for my kids. So I'm going to start with a multiple choice question. He listed off what are all, what components are involved in a Chladni plate. So I'm just going to type that in here. What components are involved in a Chladni plate? And so he said we have a speaker, we have a metal plate, we have sand, and we need some sort of audio source to make this work. And we need, we got to have our wrong answer, right? So let's say, apple. An apple, well, that might be confusing with a computer. Let's say a banana. Okay, There are no bananas involved. Okay, so since there's more than one right answer, I need to click, change these to check marks here. And so now the kids will have to select each one of these. As far as I know, there's not a way to make it a multiple correct answer. You only have to choose one kind of thing, but you can, and it have it graded automatically. You can do it like this and then just go back and fix their grades automatically, which is not a bad idea to double check. Anyways, so I made my question. I click save, and there we go. Now let's say I want to also put in an open-ended question right at the same time, like at the before they watch any more video. So I'll click here, click open-ended question, and I'm going to say, what do you predict? I don't know. This is not a very good example because they've watched like 18 seconds about this thing. But, you can imagine how this might be useful. So that's a very vague question I would ask them there. Okay. You can also add in a note. So I might say, science is cool. And then the kids roll their eyes and groan. I click save. Let's say I want to put another question here somewhere later at this time. And so I might say, what is the pattern, or let's say, describe the relationship between patterns and frequency. Okay, again, don't judge me based on the questions I'm typing in here. These are just examples. I click save. And let's say I'm done. That's all I wanted to do. I'm going to click finish. And now here's, kind of our finished product. I can look through if I want to see what it's going to be like for the kids. I click the play button. And it's playing through. We've already watched this, so let's skip forward a little bit.
Those different shapes depending on the frequency of the sound.
Okay, so we got to our first question, and the kids would have to come over here. It says, what components are involved in a cladding plate? Well, we said it was speaker, metal plate, sand, and audio source. Next question. And it's like, this is the dumbest question because Mr. Schober doesn't know what he's talking about. And this doesn't even, the question doesn't make sense. So maybe the kids are, mad or at me or whatever. Okay, so we're done. Okay, so I've submitted that question. I click next question. Continue. Okay, and then it's going to keep going through the whole video. We don't have to watch all that. That's just to kind of show you what it's like for the kids. I can see there's other people. I already made a messed up version of this video here, and looks like some other people have made much better versions. Okay, now, if you were going to assign this to your class, what you would need to do is you would click assign here. It says mine is unavailable. That's because right now I'm still using the free version. I used to have the full version, and they downgraded me at the at the end of the summer. But hopefully I'll be getting the free or the full version again. Anyways, I've made my max number of videos for the free version. That's why I can't do it. But when you click on assign, it will show you what, it'll give you your classes that you've connected via Google Classroom, which is a really easy process. And you can assign it, set due dates, all that kind of stuff. Before we talk more about that, though, I want to show you a way that I really like to use Edpuzzle. And that is, I'll make kind of like a little worksheet here. And, even in like the best of times, like I'll get tired of explaining like, oh my God, I just did example number 3 on the board and you weren't paying attention and now you've got a question about it. Right. Well, this kind of helps us avoid that, especially if we're in a virtual format where, like these kids, who knows what it's going to be like, but the kids can basically watch the video, watch you walk them through how to do the problem exactly how you want, whenever they want, however many times they want, because it's all just on the computer and you've set it up perfectly, right? Well, maybe you set it up perfectly. I probably didn't. But anyways, so we can just watch a little snippet here. Answer would be in meters because my question is asking how far, so I need to be telling a distance. Okay, so that one also, once we kind of work through it, pretty easy. All right. Okay, so just so you can kind of see, we haven't seen any questions yet, but this I recorded with me drawing with my little pen tablet on the screen on the worksheet that I made that the kids have, so they can, maybe I do 1 or 2 examples, and then they go through the rest. But one way that you can also kind of tie this in is make it not just a video of you doing an example problem, but last one I'm going to do as an example, then you do the rest on your own. We have a football player running at 2 meters per second. Okay, first thing I'm going to ask myself, what is 2 meters per second? What does that mean? Okay, so I'm kind of saying, okay, well, we walked through the process. Now you're going to give me the information. So I said, what does 2 meters per second refer to? So the kids would then say, well, meters, that's distance. Seconds is time. So meters per second can't be time or distance because those are already involved. So it must be either velocity or acceleration. Hopefully they remember velocity, and they click submit and continue, and they're going to keep going. Okay, so 2 meters per second. And, and I kind of go through it there. Okay, we don't have to do all that. I just wanted to show you a way that I really like to use Edpuzzle, and it kind of makes it like they've got their own personal Mr. Schober to give them an example, to do the example problem with them, right? Okay, so that's one really useful way to do it. I did want to show kind of what the, looking at stuff from the question side or, grading side. So when you go to your grade book in here, you can set the date. So I set this way back to March 16th so we could look at some actual, look at the grade book here. And this will, like I said earlier, this will tie in pretty easily with Google Classroom. But let's say I want to look at this Power Example 1 video. I can see, okay, a lot of people didn't do it. But then these people did do it, and they seem to have mostly done pretty well. Let's look at, let's see what Katrina, I can look through and see, well, she got the first couple right and then a couple wrong, and then the yellow means partial credit, and just kind of give you an overview of how that all worked. And you can then scroll through and you can actually change. So right here it said the question was type in an equation we learned for work. And Katrina said W equals J divided by S, which would be work equals joules divided by seconds, which I decided, that's not, I gave her a little comment here. I said, you're right, a watt is a joule per second. But that's more of a definition. That's not an equation. So I gave her a comment on her answer that she can then see and realize, oh, yeah, a watt is a joule per second. But work is, she was a little bit, she's close, but not all the way there. So I gave her, partial credit. And you can make this number whatever you want. If you set it to a multiple choice question, it will grade it for you automatically. Like I said, if you have one where you want them to select multiple, or like they've got a couple and they only need to choose one right answer, you have to go back and fix that grade automatically, but it's not very hard. So anyways, that's what it looks like from that. You can pretty quickly move through all your students to sort of grade them. And when I've already graded this video, but if there's work that's been submitted that you haven't graded yet, there's a button that will pop up that says like, grade new work or something like that. And so that's pretty cool. Okay, the other thing I was going to show is, we kind of already talked about that. Okay, so the plans. So right now I am on the basic plan, which is free. And you can do basically everything that we've done today and more on the basic plan. You get storage for 20 videos. I actually have way more than 20 videos because I used to have the pro teacher account and it has expired. And so I need to upgrade that again so that I can use this how I want. You can also get a quote. And so I think I made some slides about this. So I was in contact with them actually before any of the coronavirus stuff because I was like, this program's great. I want to use it in my classroom, and I've already used up my 20 videos. The quote that they gave us then was 5 teachers a year for $550. And if you think, okay, it's like $11 a month per teacher, that's not bad. But then the quote they gave us for the whole school was, and we have about 60 teachers or so at Brainerd, that was $13.50, which is really not that much more. So anyways, that maybe is to give you a ballpark idea of how much it would cost to get, to get set up. But if you want to find out for yourself, you can do request a quote here, and they will email you and talk about what all you need. Anyways, I hope this video is helpful. I went through some things really quick. I kind of just wanted to show you what what you can do with it. I apparently didn't finish making this slide, but so the website is edpuzzle.com. My email is schoberforest@hcbe.org. If you are if you want to go down the Edpuzzle route and you're like, oh, how did they do that one thing? Or do you know if there's a way you can do this? That's my email. You can email me, or they have really helpful tech support through Edpuzzle. So you could probably also email them. But if you're looking for somebody closer to home, then maybe I can help you. Anyways, like I said, I hope this was a helpful video. And if you think Edpuzzle is great, then cool. Tell more people and spread the love.